Welcome inside Platte Arena for Lady Forester basketball on 105.5 WQHU Fuse FM and on Forester Live on YouTube. I'm Eric Benton alongside Caleb Overfelt this evening. And Caleb, we're in for a fantastic game as the Lady Foresters take on the Lady Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan. These two teams faced off back in the month of January, and IWU came away with a win 66-50 with the Foresters on the road and really put together two complete halves in that game.
Yeah, not the Foresters' proudest performance either. They really struggled scoring the basketball. Really just early game, let Indiana Wesleyan get away from them, and really IWU never looked back. It was quite a dominant performance by the Wildcats.
Foresters only had one double-figure scorer in that game. That was Peja Speed with 15 points. The points were spread out pretty even against within the Forester lineup, but Indiana Wesleyan had much more productivity off the bench, and their starters also put up bigger numbers as well.
Yeah, really, we mentioned that Huntington's scoring was spread out, but also Indiana Wesleyan's was quite a bit as well, and just more scoring through all these different players, as you mentioned. Another big factor in that game was rebounding. Indiana Wesleyan doubling the rebounds that Huntington was able to pull down, 36-18. So that's definitely going to be a factor for this game, something that the Foresters no doubt worked on in practice and that they want to try to improve on in this matchup.
Now let's take a look around the league now. We've got one other game for you today that has already gone final. St. Francis defeats Bethel at home 75-42. That is the only game that is happening today. These other games are postponed till tomorrow, and one all the way till February 16th. Grace will host Spring Arbor tomorrow at 7. Mount Vernon will host Taylor tomorrow at 5 p.m. in a men's-women's doubleheader.
Yeah, and really St. Francis continues to stay undefeated in this women's league and an all-out dominant performance, but really this Huntington team is a different team than we saw earlier this season, and I really think that once that comes down to being able to play them, I think Huntington can give them a run for their money.
Let's go ahead and take a look at those standings. These have been updated with that St. Francis-Bethel game. St. Francis is now 13-0 in the conference, and then Indiana Wesleyan and Huntington are tied for second in a swift turn of events. Indiana Wesleyan losing both of their games last week against Grace by 2, and then just got thrashed by St. Francis earlier last week.
Right, and they really haven't done very well since the second wave of league play, losing two of three, and being swept by St. Francis most recently. And really, that's not a good news for Huntington, as you don't want to play Indiana Wesleyan coming off of 2 losses in a row. They're definitely going to be hungry for a win, and they're going to try very hard not to drop 3 straight. But as we can see with these standings, winner becomes number 2.
Yeah, and the winner, as you mentioned, becomes number 2. And there's not really a whole lot of separation between the top 4, as Grace is 8-4. They're looking to get their 9th conference win. And the winner of this game will take sole possession of second place in the standings. It should be a great game tonight. And, of course, we've got great action coming for you tomorrow. And then, again, one game being pushed to the 16th of February, a Sunday game between Marion and Goshen.
Yeah, very rarely we see basketball on a Sunday, but with this weather coming in, lots of craziness going on, lots of games getting rescheduled. We saw a lot of men's games get rescheduled yesterday, so everybody's doing what they can, not trying to force driving in the poor weather.
Foresters on the floor doing some shoot-around right now, and we'll remind you, you can follow our games on Twitter as well. For our men's contest, follow at HU Hoops, and for our women's games, follow at HU_sports. And we want to send a thank you to our social media correspondent, Victor McCarty, tweeting out during all of these games. And let's go ahead and take a look deeper into this one, Caleb. Again, the Lady Foresters struggled the last meeting between the Wildcats. Again, they've got to do a better job, I think, just generally shooting the ball. They only shot 37%, while IWU was over 50.
Yeah, and really the good thing is this Huntington team, as I mentioned, is a very different team than the one that played Indiana Wesleyan earlier this season in January. They've really improved, and they've shown a lot more confidence. Their defense is rather impeccable. They're one of the better defensive teams in the Crossroads League, and they are one of the best second-half teams. And I really think this might be a tale of 2 halves, as Indiana Wesleyan a very good first-half team, Huntington a very good second-half team. So if Huntington can just survive the first half, keep it manageable, I think they'll be able to come back and mount a win.
Huntington coming off of a big win over Mount Vernon Nazarene on the road, sweeping the Cougars for the season 72-50, where they outscored Mount Vernon in the second half 38 to 13. One of their better defensive efforts in the second half.
Yeah, holding any team to 13 points in one half is really incredible, and I think that really speaks to this both strengths of this women's Forester team. They're really good defensively. They can really shut down players, especially with Courtney Baker. She's very good at shutting down the big scorer, and really they're a great second half team. They really get hot, get a lot of things going on. Amelia Recker, maybe a little fewer points than we're used to seeing out of her, but a really good game out of Miranda Palmer with 18 points coming off the bench. So really just a very solid performance by these Lady Foresters.
As for Iowa, they're coming off of their second straight loss, most recently coming against St. Francis, and that was at home. So they, again, get swept by the Cougars of St. Francis, the number one team in the land. The Wildcats did make more field goals in the game, total field goals from the floor, but they just did not get to the free throw line enough, as St. Francis went 31 of 35.
Yeah, that's a dominant free throw performance there. Anytime you get 35 attempts, that's great in the game. And then if you're going to shoot almost 90% with those attempts, it's really hard to lose a game whenever you're getting that kind of free throw opportunity.
Quickly, some keys to this game. What do you think the Foresters have to do? As you mentioned, survive that initial first wave of emotion in the game, but what else do they have to do?
Well, they're going to have to pull down a few more rebounds, which means that we're probably going to see Jacqueline Bonema and Amelia Eschman do their normal switching on and off. Both of them will probably get a lot of playing time. I imagine that at least one of them will be on the floor at any given time. Amelia Recker is going to need to step it up. That last game against Indiana Wesleyan, she only pulled down one rebound, I believe. So really a little bit more responsibility falls on her shoulders. And again, just surviving, keeping a manageable deficit if there is a deficit, and coming out and doing their thing in the second half.
Both of these teams very dangerous in the Crossroads League. We're going to find out who is the better one when we come back after the prayer national anthem on 105.5 WQHU, Fuse FM, and Forester Live on YouTube. It's the Foresters and the Wildcats.
Huntington University welcomes all players, officials, and spectators to today's contest. As a member of the NAIA and the Crossroads League, we are committed to the true spirit of competition as champions of character, embracing 5 core values: respect, integrity, responsibility, servant leadership, and sportsmanship. We ask each of you as a participant, official, or spectator to abide by these values, and more specifically ask that profanity not be used during the contest. Together, we can create a positive, competitive environment in which our athletes may participate, our officials may work, and you, the spectator, may enjoy. A reminder that tobacco use is not permitted on the Huntington University campus. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you stand, bow your heads, remove your hats, and remain silent as Josh Kessler leads us in prayer for this evening's competition. Please remain standing after prayer in honor of America as Angelica Thompson and Alyssa Hazenby sing our national anthem. Let's pray. Gracious God, we are truly grateful that each one of the people that is here at this moment was able to get here safely through the weather. We pray for those who are still en route, that you will give them safety. We pray for Indiana Wesleyan as they head home with their spectators tonight after the competition. We pray your blessing upon them. We thank you, Lord Jesus, for dying on the cross for our sins, that we may have eternal life through your Son, Jesus Christ. We also pray for your blessing upon tonight's competition, keep it free from injury, and that you would be honored in all things. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Stripes and bright stars through the pale world.
And now the starting lineups for this evening's competition. First, for the visiting Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats. Number 2.
Back inside Platter and just about ready for the start between the Foresters and the Wildcats. Another reminder, you can follow our games on Twitter. Follow at HU_sports for women's games, and for men's games, follow at HU Hoop. So let's get into our probable starters here, Caleb. Starting off with the visiting IWU Wildcats.
Well, Indiana Wesleyan's going to be going with a 3-guard set. Taylor Goshard at senior will be bringing up the guard. Emma Stahl, a junior, and Tennille Krebs, a junior. Katrina Blackman, a junior, will be the lone forward, and the center will be Val Sahoski, a junior. So a very experienced lineup in for Indiana Wesleyan.
For the Foresters, they will have Kelsey Hubble and Courtney Baker at the guard position, along with Paige Speed, Amelia Recker at forward, and Jacqueline Bonema will be the big lady in the middle. She, I think, is going to have to be the breakout star for the Foresters if they want to try and pull off an upset win tonight.
Yeah, and like a lot of games with when Jacqueline Bonema does well, it's going to have to start early. If she can get a couple good rebounds, especially on the defensive end, if she can have a couple good moments where she can post up on offense and get a bucket in, I think she's going to have a very big game.
We're just moments away from this big-time matchup. Again, the winner of this game will be in sole possession of second place in the Crossroads League, so a lot riding on the line between the Foresters and the Wildcats. Both teams huddling up quickly before they head toward half court for the jump. And again, Caleb, it's going to have to be the team, I think, that rebounds the best, and also probably have to draw a little bit of foul action and get it done from the charity stripe.
Yeah, and that's a great advantage, and we saw that's how St. Francis beat Indiana Wesleyan in their previous game, and I think the Foresters do that very well, really as well as anybody from the line. Myriad of great free throw shooters and shooters who get themselves opportunities at the line.
It will be Sohoski and Bonema jumping at half court. Referee ready. There is the tip. It's up, and it goes to Paige Speed. Lost the ball, but it's in the hands of Hubble. Hubble back to the top with Baker. She'll center the ball, move off left, hand it to Speed. Speed now goes all the way right, fakes the handoff. Now shot fakes, has to get loose a little bit. Still holding on the ball and goes to Recker. Recker now tosses off to Baker, kicking the corner. Speed for a long 2. That one no good. Rebound Bonema. And back out to Speed along the perimeter. She'll look to drive in now. Has to pick it up back outside. Hubble for 2. Yes! And the Foresters start off with an offensive board and a second chance opportunity conversion.
Yeah, a lot of things I liked about that possession. In particular, Jacqueline Bonema pulling down that offensive board. That will be huge later on, I guarantee.
Ball at the top with Blackman. Swinging around to the perimeter to Krebs. Krebs centers back with Blackman, trying to drive on Recker. Tough shot inside and got it to go off the glass.
Yeah, and a very good spin move to set up that shot. And even though she was off balance, she was in good position to score.
Baker quickly coming the other way, hands off to Hubble. She'll move off to her left. Now the handoff to Speed. Speed looking to try and go on Stahl. Trying to go inside. Now she'll back it out, hand it to Hubble. Kelsey dribbling around, goes back to Baker, almost stolen by Krebs. 8 on the shot clock. Baker now guarded by Blackman. 3 ball by Hubble is good.
Very nice to see Kelsey Hubble involved early. She's kind of had a lull in the middle of the season as far as scoring, but had a very strong game last time against Mount Vernon and is off to a great start early on today.
5-2 Foresters with the early lead over the Wildcats. Stahl with the ball, defended by Hubble with some space over on the far side of the court. Stahl looking to try and set up the play for IWU. Goes to Blackman at the free throw line. Dishes it out. Krebs left open for 3 to answer, no good. And the rebound, Speed, all white jerseys around the basketball.
Yeah,
Caleb.
and that was due to great blocking out by Jacqueline Bonema. She's playing exactly how she needs to right now.
Baker has it on the near wing, centers back right, goes to Hubble. Hubble looking to try and get free, finds Bonema at the free throw line, now gives it back to Hubble, off on the baseline to Speed. Speed going back to the right. Has to stop. Has space for a long 2. It's good. 7-2. Foresters by 5 early. 17:45 to go in the first half.
And I'm going to keep talking about Jacqueline Bonema. She was doing an excellent job getting herself in position there to allow Paige to take that shot. And I don't think Paige was really expecting it, but she took it anyway and cashed in.
Stahl Centers it to Krebs, off to the right, or to the left rather, and Goshert. Goshert kicks it out to Stahl. Stahl going to go inside, left open. The adjustment no good, and the rebound Baker against Sohoski, who had an easy look inside.
Well, how about Baker with those defensive rebounds?
Helbel for three again. That one off to the left, no good. Recker corrals the miss and lays it in. It's 9-2 Foresters.
We mentioned how important rebounding is, and Huntington's doing an excellent job right now commanding the glass.
Stahl, bounce pass, knocked away, almost stolen by Baker. Goshert comes up with a loose ball. Blackman inside, Sohoski against Bonema. Turnaround around the rim and somehow managed to fall.
Well, I don't know how that one got back yet. I think somebody might have used some magic there.
9-4. Iwu trailing by 5 early to the Foresters, and a great start so far for Huntington. Baker taking her time, goes ahead and bounces off to Hubble. Hubble will now work it back to the right, got double team, kicks to Baker. Baker picks up her dribble to Bonema. Bonema looking for movement, goes back door to Hubble, and a travel by Kelsey. First turnover of the game, Caleb. Relatively clean first half start for both sides, but Iwu is having a little bit more trouble from the field so far. Stahl will kick to Blackman. Blackman will now go back out to Goshert. Goshert in the corner to Blackman. Blackman looking to drive on Recker, almost lost the ball. Back out to Sohoski. Nice defense by Bonema again. Stahl looking to move in the lane. Lost the ball and stolen by Recker. Recker going to try and bring it up against Krebs, and now stops and gives back to Baker, top of the key. Baker gets the play in from head coach Lori Keller. Ball off to Hubble. Hubble picks up her dribble. Looks to go back door and went too far. Looking for Courtney Baker cutting to the basket. And we've hit the first media timeout, brought to you by the Huntingtonian. At 15:48 to go in the first half, it's 9-4. Foresters with the early lead.
Well, I certainly didn't expect Huntington to come out with this much steam and really just playing very precise offense and just doing a good job hustling, really getting some of those big plays, especially those steals and some offensive boards they pulled down. Really, if I want to critique what they're doing a little bit, they're allowing Indiana Wesleyan to get some easy shots off. And fortunately for Forester fans, Indiana Wesleyan's missed some of those, but also their two shots really have been relatively unguarded, so they're going to have to work on that one later on down the game.
Media timeout brought to you by the Huntingtonian. We are the media. Visit them at huntingtonian.com and follow them on Facebook and Twitter. And folks, want to remind you of our next broadcast, a very special presentation of Forester basketball as we bring you the 6th annual Pink Out Game for Breast Cancer Awareness as the Lady Foresters take on Goshen College here on Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m.
Yeah, always exciting when the Pink Out comes around, and we'll be decked out in our pink shirts just like everybody else for that broadcast. Out
of the timeout. Doesn't look like any changes yet for either side. Both teams content to keep their starters on the floor. Again, Caleb, you mentioned a great start by the Foresters. They're getting plenty of good looks. The last two possessions, though, have been a little sloppy, 2 straight turnovers.
Yeah, and they're just gonna. That really has to do with the intensity of their play, and I think once they settle in, they'll be able to limit those.
Stahl hands to Krebs. Back at the top with Blackman. Blackman with space against Recker, looking to make something happen. Goes to Krebs, off to Goshert in the near corner. She'll look and try and drive on Baker. Instead kicks to Stahl around the horn. Krebs for 3. That one an air ball, no good. Rebound Blackman, and now Goshert with 5 on the shot clock. Kicks out. Blackman along 2. No good. Rebound Baker.
It was a really good defensive possession for the Foresters. They really plugged up the lane and made sure they couldn't get any easy shots off.
Hand off to Hubble from Baker. She'll move left, screened by Bonema. Now hands to Speed. Speed along 2 on the way. That one no good. Ball tipped up. Rebound Stahl. Quickly back come the Wildcats. They're going to try and push the tempo here maybe just a little bit. But now they back it out into their half-court offense. Stahl kicks to Krebs, and now she'll move off to the far side. Looked to go backdoor, could not find it, and centers back with Blackman. Blackman, the spin move against Recker. 2 ball put up no good. Rebound Recker. And the fans may have wanted to travel there against Blackman. Looked like she may have took 1 too many steps, but nonetheless, no points for the Wildcats. Speed trying to work on Goshert. Hands it off outside to Hubble. Hubble moving left, goes to Bonema. Bonema will direct the play and go to Baker. Baker goes back outside. Speed. Tough shot, adjusts, put up, no good. Rebound is up, and it will be a foul on Bonema, I believe. Bonema with the push. First team foul of either side so far this evening. And we see our first substitution as number 0, Erica Isham, checks in for Solhaski.
Well, you mentioned that was the only first foul, and the referees have really let them play very physical. There's been a lot of hand checking and a lot of grabbing, but really they're letting them get away with it. So this may be a physical game later on.
Goshard has it on the near wing. Centers back with Blackman off to number 22, who is also checked in. Carly Cottrell is checked in. Ball knocked away by Baker and saves it in the corner. And we talk about Baker a lot as she's pushing it right now. She is probably one of the better defensive players on this Forester team. Speed with the ball, off to Hubble. Back out to Peja on the wing. And now they'll center it with Baker. 14 on the shot clock. Off to Speed, far side now. Bounce pass into Recker. Recker on Blackman. Trying to spin up and under. Has to step back and pop for 2. That one no good. And out of bounds off Bonema. She was trying to get the offensive board.
Yeah, that was very good, strong defense by, I believe, Blackman on Amelia Recker there. Just really didn't let Amelia back her down. And Amelia will have to figure out how to work around her if she's going to have success.
Now the Foresters will sub in their first 2 players of the game. Miranda Palmer and Amelia Eschman check in for Bonema and Hubble. We see this a lot, Caleb. Both Palmer and Eschman are really versatile off the bench as we still have a 9-4 score.
Yeah, you mentioned it. They're really just as good as the starting players they replace, and it really just helps the Foresters have some fresh legs on the court.
Goshard kicks to Cottrell on the near wing, defended by Speed. Screen set by Isham. Speed fights through it. Cottrell has to kick back out to Goshard. Goshard with a screen. She'll now work it off to the left. Finds Stahl in the corner. She'll go baseline, kick it out. Deep to Cottrell, a long 3, and it is good. That's the first field goal in quite some time now for either side, Caleb. That breaks up a 9-4 score, makes it 9-7. Iowa down by 2. Pass goes to Speed. Speed going to control it. Go off to Baker. Now Palmer. Palmer drive and kick out to Recker. Baker swings to Speed in the corner. Screen, Eschman trying to go baseline. It'll be an offensive foul on Speed, as she may have left with the arm there.
Yeah, that's what they're going to get her for, and that's very unfortunate. Trying to fake out on that Amelia Eschman screen and just couldn't get it to go.
12:35 to go in the first half. Huntington leading 9-7 over Indiana Wesleyan. Goshard rather, kicks in the corner to Stahl. Inside, Isham. Turnaround jumper, no good. Rebound, Recker. Quickly off to Baker, and she is pushing it hard for the Foresters. Baker against Stahl, looking for space. Kicks it back out to Speed on the far wing. A 1 screen set by Recker, rather. And it's a handoff back to Baker. She'll center. Go back to Speed. Recker looks to the screen. Speed going to drive in. Ball knocked away and stolen by Stahl. Stahl works her way around Palmer. Now looking to try and push. Instead, kicks back out to Cottrell on the wing. And now Iwu slows down a little bit as Cottrell works back with the ball. Screen Isham. Back over to Goshard. Now Blackman sets the pick. And off in the corner. Stahl for 3. That one no good. Speed fights away around a Wildcat and gets the board. Both teams now, Caleb, really struggling with their shot selection here. Both teams have really just struggled. Iwu's only gotten 1 field goal since that 9-4 score.
Yeah, and something I think that's causing that is both teams are playing very good interior defense, and I think these are both inside-out teams, so with that lane clogged up, they have a hard time scoring.
5 on the shot clock. Baker, tough shot, puts that one up. No good. Rebound, Eschman. Eschman will go back outside. Smart move and goes to Baker. Play called in by Color. Baker waiting to make her move on Stahl. She'll move off to her left. Hands to Speed. Still 14 on the shot clock. Speed working inside. What a turnaround, and got the lay-in. Did Peja Speed.
Yeah, really just excellent job, and that shot just really fell into her lap, and she took advantage of it.
11-7, Foresters by 4. Stahl with the ball. Screen Blackman. Kicks off to Goshard. Isham sets the pick. Goshard gets double teamed. Goes off to Cottrell. Now Blackman puts on a pick. Goshard will take a corner 3 and connect.
Well, that's one of those shots as a coach, you're like, oh, don't take that. But then as soon as it goes in, you say, well, nice job anyway. That was a very heavily contested shot with quite a bit of time left on the shot clock, but it went in regardless.
11-10. Foresters only leading by 1. Speed picks up her dribble, bounces off to Recker. That's outside the high post. Nice cut by Eschman and lays it in with the right hand. 13-10 Foresters.
Nice job between the Amelias there with that good communication. Very nice synergy. Really getting that play off. Good pass, good shot, good play.
Just past the midway mark of the first half. Foresters by 3. Goshert in the corner to Stahl. Back to Goshert. She'll center and move right to Cottrell. Isham with the screen. Good switch by the Foresters. Ball fighting for it in the lane. It's a jump ball to Iwu as Baker was going with the much taller Blackman inside and got the tie up. And now 2 subs for the Wildcats. Number 3, Chelsea Winter checks in along with 23, so Hosky returning to the floor for Iwu.
I don't think Baker's one that's intimidated by bigger players, do you?
I don't think so. Ten seconds on the shot clock for Iwu. And Stahl will inbound underneath the basket on the left side. Stahl looking to get it in and does so deep to Cottrell. She almost goes over and back. Quickly off to Goshert. 4 on the shot clock. Screen set. Goshert has to kick it out. Cottrell a long 3. That one no good. Rebound Wrecker.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure she got that shot off, but the referees do allow it.
They did, but regardless, Forster basketball.
13-10. 9:23 to go in the first half. Here's Palmer working with the ball. Bounces off to Wrecker. Wrecker at the high post. Works it off slightly left. Fakes the handoff, now gives it to Speed. 8 on the shot clock. Speed, screened by Eschman. Looking to go baseline and does. Kicks it back out, but stolen by Goshert. Now Goshert will go to Stahl. Quickly up to Cottrell. Back at the top, Stahl swings to Goshert. Goshert has a screen from Solhosky. Moves right, goes to Cottrell. She'll on the ball for a little bit and gets a screen from Winter. Off to Stahl on the far wing. Solhosky with another screen. Ball loose as the pass tried to go to Solhosky. It was a little too wide for her, and Speed gets the steal.
A good awareness by Speed to pick up that mistake.
Baker gets the ball from Peja. Centers it back at the top. And now it looks like Kelsey Hubble will check in on the next stoppage of play. Dish it off to Palmer for 3. In and out, no good. Rebound Winner. And we have a timeout on the floor. There'll be a full timeout by Iwu. This full timeout brought to you by HTV News. There you get a look at the student section. Packing it pretty nicely here inside Platte Arena this evening. Pretty big contest, and we're getting some good support from the students tonight.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised to see so many people that made it out despite the weather, but it's good to have the fan support there and really helps motivate these ladies, I think.
Full timeout brought to you by HTV News, your source for the latest video coverage. Visit them at htvnews.net and follow them on Twitter at HTVnews_HU. 8:21 to go, and an interesting call there by the head coach, Steve Brooks, for Iwu, calling that timeout when they could have possibly gone in transition and did something with it.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. He must have saw something in that last defensive possession he didn't like, but really, I think everybody knew that Indiana Wesleyan, the better first half team, needed to go out strong, so I'm not sure if he's quite pleased with how his ladies are playing right now. And I think he wants to try to turn this game around, maybe stop the clock and talk about it.
That leaves Iwu with 5 timeouts at their disposal. Huntington with the full arsenal of 6. 13-10, Foresters by 3 with 8:21 to go in the first half, and a relatively clean game. I say it again, Caleb, but these teams are playing very intense, but keeping it clean out there, and that's what we like to see.
Yeah, they really are. Part of it is, like I mentioned, the officials not calling a lot of contact, but honestly, really, as you mentioned, both teams playing very clean basketball.
So Hosky has it on the far wing, centers it back with Winter, off to Stahl on the near side. Now, here's Cottrell, left open for 3, off the back iron, no good. Rebound Baker against Goshert, who was trying to swat it away. In Baker, off to the near wing, hands to Hubble, who is checked in for Speed. Here's the hand to Palmer. Palmer trying to spin back to her left, goes behind the back, and now has to go back right. Picks up her dribble to Eschman, off to Baker. Baker with Spates, dishes off. Hubble steps inside, along 2. That one is no good off the left. Rebound Stahl. A good look there by Hubble, just could not connect. Stahl back at the top, goes to Cottrell on the far side of the court, right in front of the student section. Cottrell finds Goshert, swing it to Stahl. Stahl content to hang on here. Winner fakes the three. That one inside and got the layup around Courtney Baker, who was trying to steal it.
Yeah, and a lot of times she'll get that steal, but I think it was more important at that point just to stay there and be a defensive presence.
Back at the top with Palmer as Bonema looks to check in on the next stoppage. Hubble gets a screen from Eschman. She'll move left. Backdoor into Baker, but stolen away by Winner. Here comes Stahl, quickly the other way, backs it out. That one out of bounds, knocked away by a Forrester on the pass. It'll stay Iwu ball as Bonema checks in for Eschman. Also number 1, Jessica Brown going to check in for Iwu. She comes on for Stahl. Brown, a sophomore guard out of Greenfield, Indiana. Inbound goes to Winner. Back to Brown, and she will run the point. Brown swings to Goshert, near wing, defended by Palmer. Brown with it, off to Sohaski. Bonema defends her. 3 ball on the way by Winner, and it's good. Iwu's in front.
Yeah, they're doing a really nice job with their three-point shooting right now, responding to the inside defense that the Foresters have been able to put up so far in this game.
15-13, 6:25. Back with Baker on the near wing. Screen by Bonema. Switch by Iwu as Hubble has it. Has some screens. Looking to try and make something happen. 6 on the shot clock. Palmer, tough shot, dishes back out. Hubble will drive, dish it off to Bonema, but she traveled before the pass.
Well, I think Hubble was planning on going in and then saw that Bonema was open and really second-guessed herself a little bit, and that's what caused that travel.
Hubble will check out, speed back in. And Brown will bring it across for Iwu. Talking things over with Winner. She crosses the timeline and gives off to Cottrell. Cottrell gonna lob inside. A good pass to Winner. Back out to Sohaski, left open for 2, and she converts.
Yeah, it was good help defense by Bonema there, but whenever a defender leaves to help, somebody else needs to help the defender that the offensive player they left, and nobody picked up that and left a wide open shot.
17-13. Forsters trailing by 4, and a foul on Iwu. It is against Cottrell, number 22, sophomore guard out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. First team foul on Iwu. Inbound is in, easy to Speed. Speed with a nice fake, drives inside, and she's fouled. And I think that fake handoff, Caleb, really drew the double team onto, I believe it was Palmer, and that allowed Speed to get in easily right near the basket.
Yeah, and Peja, one of the better free throw shooters in the entire country, with several attempts as well, is very good for these 2 shots, I think.
Speed's first one on the way. That one pure. Cuts the deficit to 3 for the Foresters. She'll look to make it a 2-point game now. Second end on the way. Short, got her own board and puts it back.
That is classic Peja Speed right there. Always playing heads-up basketball, always one step ahead of the people she's playing against, getting her own rebound, cashing in, getting 3 points on that possession instead of just 2.
1-point game now, 17. Foresters trail by 1. Pass to Goshert on the wing in front of the Forester bench. Sohaski to Brown. Brown will find Winner at the top of the key. Out to Sohaski. Back, Cottrell, and that is a travel. And now the Foresters have a chance to retake the lead.
Yeah, that's as clear of a travel as I've ever seen. Really took a couple steps there, and Foresters get the possession back. And like as you mentioned, with a good play here, it seems like the momentum has started to shift again in their favor.
Cottrell is checked out for number 25. Jessica Stewart checking in for the first time. Baker with it, defended by Brown, goes to Palmer. Palmer guarded by Stewart. Tried to lob it inside, and that one's stolen by Goshert. Trying to go into Record there. Quickly off to Winner. Winner met tightly there by Speed. Trying to find some space. That one knocked away by Palmer out of bounds. Good defense there by the Foresters. 18 on the shot clock for Iwu. And that was very close, Caleb, to being a 5-second call.
That had to be close. A couple of the fans calling for it.
Baker trying to go for the steal. And she gets called for the body foul there. That's team foul number 3 for the Foresters. First on Baker tonight. And Brown will inbound in front of the student section. Down to Winner. Off to Brown. Brown defended by Palmer. Brown takes her time, finds Winner on the wing. Record to defend. Back to Brown. Swing to Gosher. Far side finds Sohosky. Back to Brown. 13 on the shot clock. Here's Stewart to Sohosky. Iwu looking to try and take as much time off the clock, and a reach-in foul on Palmer. Again, good defense there by the Foresters, but a foul will give Iwu a fresh 30 on the shot clock.
Yeah, it's the second time we've seen that happen this possession, and really just allowing Iwu to continue to have the ball, but they are playing very good defense, as you mentioned.
Inbound to Goshert. She'll swing it back to Brown at the top of the key. Back with Goshert on the wing. Finding Sohosky to Brown. Off to Stewart. Stewart top of the key, directing traffic. Still has not taken a dribble. Swings to Brown on the perimeter. That's a Sohosky. Almost taken by Baker as the pass gets to Goshert. 6 on the shot clock. Tough shot by Goshert. No good. Rebound Palmer.
Well, and the good defense persists even through almost 3 entire shot clocks, and just a nice job there by the Foresters hanging on.
3:35 to play in the first period. Palmer will find Baker. Baker picks up her dribble, bounces off to Speed. Speed will find Palmer. Nice adjustment to get the pass. Off to Baker. Finds Palmer. Step back. Long 3 for Palmer is good.
Now that was a long shot, and with the time running out, that was really the best option she had off of the Amelia Recker screen. And just an excellent shot by Palmer. Let's see her get more involved
And
on
Caleb,
offense.
that is a Miranda Palmer special. She loves that step back jumper. Palmer now defends Brown here on the wing. Brown taking her time, finds Sohosky. 13 on the shot clock. Back with Brown to Goshert. Goshert looking to try and make something happen in the lane. Picks up her dribble. Finds Stewart. Good switch by the Foresters. Stewart back to Goshert. And that is a blocking foul on Speed.
Wow, very surprised with that call. Looked like it was very clear that she led with the forearm there, knocking over Peja Speed. Very surprised to see that call.
Hubble will check in for Speed, who now has 2 fouls. 5.5 for the Foresters at 2:43 to go in the first half. 19-17, Foresters by 2. Brown in, easy to Winner. And it's right back with Brown, and she'll set up the offense. Brown finds Sohosky on the wing, now in the corner. Goshert back to her left. Looking to drive in the lane. Tough shot, no good. Got her own board. And a tough putback against Baker, who may have gotten part of the basketball. Luckily, Baker stops, puts on the brakes just inside the timeline. Gets the play from the sidelines. Baker bounces off to Recker at the high post. Hands it back to Baker. Baker works her way around, finds Palmer in the corner. Palmer with space. Long 2. That one is up. No good. Tipped up. Bonema gets the board, and she's fouled.
Yeah, that was excellent effort by Bonema. That's exactly what we need to keep seeing, and the crowd gives her a nice applause for that effort there.
Tied at 19. That foul is on Stewart, her first, and team's third of the half for Iwu. Back in comes Katrina Blackman. And are you surprised, Caleb, that Blackman was out for that long? She's really the player to watch for Iwu inside.
Yeah, definitely one of their better rebounders, and her absence might have been why the Foresters have been able to pull down so many boards.
Hubble with the ball against Blackman. Dishes back out to Palmer. Swing to Baker. Baker trying to center it. Goes back left. Screen Recker. 1-on-1. Baker going to drive and kick. Hubble 4-2. That one is short. Rebound Brown. Brown going to look and tried to go inside. Instead backed it out to the perimeter to wait for her teammates. Blackman with it. She'll swing to Winner. Around to Brown. Looking for something to set up for the Wildcats. Here's Winner to Blackman. On the wing. Lob inside. Goshert working away around Recker. Kicks it out. 2-ball on the way and good from Brown on the nice pass from Goshert on the baseline.
Yeah, they did a nice job hanging tough there and waiting for that opportunity to present itself instead of forcing any opportunities.
Iwu back in front, 21-19. Baker bounces off to Recker. Fakes the handoff. Now Recker will look and try and drive in. A reach-in foul. That'll go against Winner. Team foul number 4. That's the first on Winner. Winner, a freshman out of Ohio. As Hubble will look to inbound for the Foresters underneath the basket on the right side. Inbound goes to Palmer. does not hand off to Hubble. She'll step back for 2, and it's good.
Yeah, you could definitely tell she wanted that shot. She had the opportunity to hand the ball off, but she instead decided to shoot it, and it's a tie basketball game again.
21 all, under 50 seconds to go in the first half. Blackman finds Winter top of the key. Looking for movement, finds Goshard on the wing. Defended by Baker. Goshard content to hold on to the ball for quite some time. Centers it, goes back to her left, goes to Blackman. Blackman will drive, put it up. That one is a charge.
Yeah, very good call there. She came barreling in. It was a very easy charge for somebody to take, and nice job by Miranda Palmer stepping in there. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. And sometimes it's very hard to believe that she's a freshman with the kind of poise and just basketball IQ that she plays with.
Foresters will have the final shot of the half. Shot clock turned off. Baker takes her time, probably on instructions from head coach Culler. Foresters, though, begin to move. Handoff to Baker. Goes back outside. 8 seconds left. Here's to Hubble. Back to Palmer. Palmer with 3. Step back. 2 on the way. No good off the back iron. And we head to halftime at a very tight, low-scoring half. 21 all as we head to the locker room.
Well, the score might be tied, but I think the Foresters won that half there. They did what they needed to do, pulled down a lot of good rebounds, hung in there, and I think in the second half they'll be able to do what they normally do and let loose and really take control of this basketball game.
We'll go ahead and take a break, bring you some halftime stats, and look forward to this, what is probably going to be a phenomenal second half. The Foresters and the Wildcats tied at 21. Here on Forester Live on YouTube and 105.5 WQHU Fuse FM. We're back after this.
Huntington Pizza. The shooter will shoot from the free throw line, the 3-point line, and half court. If they hit the free throw, they win a 2-liter pop. If they hit that 3-point shot, they win a free pizza from Pizza Hut. If they hit the half court shot, they win a $100 gift certificate. We call your ticket number. Please report to the scoring table with your ticket. Ticket number 1, first 3 numbers 682. Final 3 numbers 3, 4, 5. That's 3, 4, 5. Jordan Van Engen, come on down. Final 3 numbers 3, 5, 6. Ticket number 3. 5, 6. 682, 3, 5, 6. Connor Worthman, this is your lucky day. Our third ticket holder, 682. Final 3 numbers, listen carefully. 3, 9. 339. 339 going once. 339 going twice. Travis Roberts, please report to the scores table. This fun ticket brought to you by glasses.com with eyewear. Corrective eyewear for those who can't read their tickets properly. Another ticket, 348-682-348. Ticket holder, 682-348. Guy whose name I don't know, come on now. Kevin. University Athletic Department wants to thank Orthopedics Northeast and SportOne for its partnership. ONE Physicians specialize in bones, joints, spines, and sports medicine. ONE also has athletic trainers that provide team coverage to area athletic programs, including Huntington University. When you need orthopedic care, there's only one name to know, O-N-E.
Back inside Platte Arena, the Foresters and Wildcats tied at 21 at the break. Follow our games on Twitter as well. Follow at HU_sports for our women's games like tonight, and then follow at HU Hoops for our men's games. Let's go ahead and take a look at your stats now, Caleb. Really, it is true parity of a tie. Both teams have gone 9 for 20, 45% from the field. The Foresters, 2 for 4 from beyond the arc. IWU, 3 for 8. They've taken more three-point attempts, and only 2 free throw attempts combined for both teams. Both of them came from Huntington. They go 1 for 2.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you say about this? Really something that I think should be pointed out is Huntington is winning the rebounding battle. We talked about that. Very important for this game. Obviously, Huntington was aware of this. They're rebounding very well. Even have 5 offensive boards allowing those second chance opportunities. And again, we don't keep track of second chance scoring, but if we did, I know for a fact several of the points have come off those second chance opportunities. Really the biggest black flag right now for Huntington is 8 turnovers. That's a little bit more than they'd like to see in this half, and a few of them were unforced, couple travels that really shouldn't have happened, so that's something they're going to want to limit. But honestly, as I mentioned before we took a break, I think the Foresters are in a pretty good position right now, happy to be hanging with, and now they can really let loose into their typical second half scheme.
As for individual scorers, they're led by Paige Speed with 7 points. She has 3 rebounds as well. Then you have Miranda Palmer and Kelsey Hubble with 5 for the Foresters. Amelia Recker and Amelia Eschman round out the scoring for HU with 2 points apiece. As for IWU, they're a bit more spread out. Not exactly the big numbers, though, that you might expect. Goshert with 5, as well as Chelsea Winter off the bench. Then Sohosky off the bench, or starter rather, with 4. Blackman with only 2, as does Brown, and then 3 points from Carly Cottrell.
Yeah, really spread out scoring from both teams. No single player going off, and that's really very similar to what we've seen with the previous performance, except for Huntington's actually hanging in there right now instead of taking an early deficit.
Again, both teams tied at 21 here at the break. Let's take a look now around the league in the Crossroads League. Again, one game already taking place today. It has gone final. St. Francis beats the visiting Bethel Lady Pilots 75-42. They are now 25-0 on the season, 13-0 in Crossroads League play. These next two games, Caleb, are tomorrow at 7 and 5 p.m. respectively. Grace will host Spring Arbor, and Mount Vernon hosts Taylor in a men's-women's doubleheader.
Yeah, a lot of good games going around this league, and again, very tight league. At this point, anything can happen. Whoever loses this game is going to be tied for a third place position. So really just very tough competition here in the Crossroads League.
And then one other game, Goshen-Marion has been moved from tonight to February 16th. That is a Sunday game, something we rarely see in the NAIA.
Yeah, really interesting to see that happen, and really this weather throwing everything off.
Let's take a look now again at those standings that have been updated. St. Francis now 13-0. Bethel has dropped to 5-8. They're now 10-15 overall on the season, but they are still eligible for the Crossroads League tournament at the end of the regular season. Spring Arbor and Taylor both at 4-8. They would have the 7 and 8 seed, and then Marion at 6-6, 500 in league play. And then you have Grace will be the final team with a home game in the first round at 8-4. And then, as we mentioned, Iwu and Huntington tied at 9-3 in the Crossroads League. This will determine who takes over sole possession of second.
Yeah, very important implications of this game. Like I said, both these teams very aware of how important this game is. I think we're going to see a strong performance in the second half by both of these teams. I think the Foresters have a little bit of advantage just based on how they play second halves historically through this season, really just outscoring their opponents outright.
The thing is, Caleb, the Foresters will have to do the majority of their games in the second wave on the road. They only have, I believe, 2 more home games after this. Their 3 others are on the road, and they host Goshen this coming Saturday. Then they finish 3 out of their last 4 traveling. The last home game will be at hosting St. Francis. That's on the 19th of February.
Yeah, and if you look, really the Foresters have only lost 1 game at home.
And it was non-conference. Very first game of the year to Aquinas.
Right, and all their other losses have come away. So a bit of a disadvantage for the Foresters having to play on the road, rounding out this season several games away from Platte Arena. So they really want to make sure they can cash in on this opportunity and stay undefeated in Crossroads League at home.
Take a look now to the second half, Caleb. Again, the Foresters having a rebound advantage, 14-9 over Iwu. They definitely have to keep that up, and then, as we see it a lot, the turnovers have to dissipate for HU.
Yeah, they really do. If they can control those turnovers and just really continue to do a lot of what they're doing. I think they played a really good half overall. I think they played a little bit better than Indiana Wesleyan did. One really off-kilter three-pointer really is what has this game tied up right now by Iwu. So I think if they can just continue to do what they're doing, pull down the rebounds, limit the turnovers, and really try to get in some sort of rhythm on offense, I think they can run away with this game.
As for Iwu, again, as you mentioned, they didn't really have the momentum, but it's still a tied game. Both teams played really clean in that first half, I felt like. What does Iwu now have to do to try and establish maybe something inside?
Well, I think they need to maybe get some better looks, and really a lot of that is out of their control to a certain extent, with Huntington just playing excellent defense, as they often do. But they just need to have a little bit better ball movement, and we saw a lot of their really impressive points came off of some really quick passes, so they're going to really need to look for that. Anytime they're getting double teamed, they're getting swarmed, they need to just find the open person and see if they can get those shots set up.
And again, we mention it all the time, this Forester team very capable of making free throws. Only 2 attempts in the first half, but I imagine that we may see a more aggressive side out of both teams, really, in the second half, and that could be the difference is that free throw game.
Yeah, I think that was definitely part of Indiana Wesleyan's game plan, trying not to foul the Foresters because they know what a dangerous team they are from the foul stripe. So we might see a little bit of that continue, but if the Foresters are able to get a little bit of the lead, they might force the hand of Indiana Wesleyan, cause them to play more aggressively, and get themselves more opportunities at the line to seal the game.
We will go ahead and take a break as we close in on 1:30 before the start of the second half. The Foresters and Wildcats tied at 21 on Forester Live on YouTube and 105.5 Fuse FM. back inside Platt Arena. 21-all as we are about ready for the start of the second half. It will be Forster ball to start off the second stanza. Again, this game very important. The winner will, for now, have sole possession of second place in the Crossroads League. Again, Grace will play tomorrow evening, and they could possibly move up to 9-4. And again, a lot of things could happen here, Caleb. But the Forsters, I think, they're a second-half team. This is the time where they have to shine and try and split the season series with IWU.
Yeah, I think it's very possible, and I think that if they can get into any kind of offensive rhythm, they'll be able to take this game away if they can just continue to do what they were doing right in the first half.
They're about ready to go. Hubble will get it in for the Foresters. No fouls for either side here as we begin the half, and that is now straight away. Foresters begin with their starters, as I mentioned earlier, Speed, Recker, Bonema, Hubble, and Baker. Likewise for the Wildcats. Baker starts things off. We're underway. She'll hand off to Speed. Speed switched off by Stahl. Stahl now tries to cut in. Pass a little wide, but corralled by Recker. Moving inside, almost got it. Bonema tips it out and almost saved, but she goes into the seats and out of bounds.
Yeah, either way, really good effort by Bonema, just chasing down that ball, getting that initial tip, which was a very good tip. Unfortunately, no Forsters able to corral it. She tried to do it herself. Good effort, even though it didn't work out.
Stahl brings it up for IWU. Met by Hubble, top of the key. Bounce pass to Blackman. Blackman kicks it back outside. Goshard, a three ball, no good. Rebound, Recker. Nice extension to go squeeze the orange.
Yeah, nice job there. They're going to need more of that in this second half.
Baker hands to Speed. Speed with a screen from Bonema. Has to work it back to her right. Bonema again provides. Speed goes baseline, kicks out to Hubble. Hubble will give to Recker. Long two is off the backside, no good. Rebound Goshard. She'll slow it down for the Wildcats. Off to Stahl. Lots of space between Hubble and Stahl. Stahl moves left, goes to Blackman, high post, kicks it out to Krebs. Krebs finds Blackman again in the corner, screened by Krebs, switched by the Forsters. Speed now defends as Blackman has trouble with it in the corner, so Hosky loses it, but it was knocked out by a Forester. 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, nice job by Speed picking up that screen and really forcing them into a bad position inside the baseline, which eventually led to the ball going out of bounds.
Over, swinging it around. 2 on the shot clock. 1, that one is up, no good. Rebound, Recker. Back off to Baker. She's on the far side and hustling hard. Kick it out to Hubble. Screened by Bonema. Hubble steps back and goes to Baker. Baker again working quickly, trying to go right side. Now has to back it out. Left open for 2, no good. Rebound, Stahl. Both teams trying to feel each other out as the second half begins. Blackman finds Goshard along the baseline, kick it out, and that'll be a foul as Goshard tried to find Krebs in the corner. That's on Baker. First team foul of the half and second on Courtney. So now both Speed and Baker working with 2 fouls, Caleb. But again, it's relatively early here in the second half. Not in too deep foul trouble yet. Blackman gets the inbound, works her way around Recker, and lays it in.
Yeah, and really 2 minutes into this game, we finally see the first 2 points of this half.
Quickly up to Hubble. She'll work it back left. Hubble gonna drive, kick out to Speed. Speed gonna find Recker. Hands to Hubble. Recker gives the screen. Hubble with the drive, misses the layup. Stahl quickly moving back for the Wildcats. That'll be a body foul on Speed. That's 3 now on Peja.
Yeah, that was not a very good decision there. That was a very clear foul. Should have moved her feet a little bit, and a little bit of frustration maybe coming out there for Peja.
23-21. IWU by 2. Deep inbound to Goshard. Back to Stahl in the corner. She'll now go cross court to Krebs, and she just saved it along the far baseline. Stahl works it back to the right, and now she'll try and look inside. A travel by Stahl. Coach Culler yelling for a double dribble before that travel, but nonetheless it gives the ball back to the Foresters.
Yeah, either way it happens, it's good for the Foresters to have that turnover there, and they really need to come down and get something going on offense here.
17:20 to go, second half. Baker moves off left, hands to Hubble. Good defense from Stahl as Hubble goes back to Speed. Speed trying to cross over, screened by Bonema. Speed looking to try and back down, so Hosky has to bounce it back to Bonema, off to Speed. Speed with tons of space. 3-ball is no good. And it'll be a travel as Krebs tried to corral the miss. She went to the floor, and that gives it back to the Foresters.
Yeah, I don't think she was expecting to grab that rebound. The ball got left alone there for a while, and she grabbed it, and I think they were off just a little bit, and that little bit of lack of focus will get the Foresters a basketball back.
Speed to get it in, does so to Recker at the free throw line. She'll go ahead and take the shot, left it well short, and that's out of bounds.
And
Coach Culler looking for a block, and she will not get one. It's Iwu ball, and Stahl will bring it up. Stahl bounces to Goshert. Goshert continues off left. Dishes to Krebs, to Blackman. Stahl trying to find some space against Baker. Nice dribble. Ball is loose. Krebs picks up the loose ball and got the runner against Bonema.
Well, there definitely is some opportunities for the Foresters to create these turnovers, but they're just not jumping on them like they were in the first half.
Push it out to Speed. 3-ball no good. Rebounds goes to Krebs. 25-21. Iwu by 4. Stahl centers it. Goes off to the far side. Stahl again content to take her time for Iwu. Finds Krebs. Now Goshert with it. Goshert. That'll be a charge on Goshert as Speed hit the deck very, very hard, but she is back up.
Yeah, she did just take that one really directly in the chest, and with lowered shoulder there, that's a pretty easy call to make.
Second on Goshert. First in the half for Iwu as Miranda Palmer is checked in for Kelsey Hubble.
Really need to see a good offensive possession here from the Foresters. They really struggled to get some good shots and settled for some very bad ones. It'd be nice to see them get some good looks here.
And again, they have not scored yet in this half as Baker hands to Palmer. Palmer against Stahl. Bounces off to Speed. Fakes the pass to Recker. Now backs it out. Centers. Speed going to drive. Kick to Baker. Baseline jumper. No good. Ball tipped up. Rebound Stahl.
And really, the Huntington can't get anything to fall right now. Every opportunity they've taken, it's falling a little bit short. Inside,
Sahoski, the turnaround off the glass. And a timeout by head coach Lori Culler. At 15:29 to go in this second half. It's a full timeout brought to you by HTV News. This will replace the media timeout as Iwu starts off on a 6-0 run throughout the first 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic of Huntington, really starting off with a pretty solid first half and really just seem very out of sync right now in the second half early on in these first few minutes here, and having a hard time getting off some good looks and really just getting beat on all those hustle plays right now by Indiana Wesleyan.
Full timeout brought to you by HTV News, your source for the latest video coverage. Visit them at htvnews.net and follow them on Twitter at HTVnews_HU. Again, we remind you to tune in for a special presentation of Forester basketball. It's the Lady Foresters take on Goshen in the 6th annual Pink Out game for breast cancer awareness. That's Saturday at 1 p.m. And it should be another phenomenal Pink Out game provided here by the Huntington University Lady Forester basketball team. They always do such a great job with this event.
Yeah, it's just a really good program, a lot of good things happening, and also just draws a little bit of an extra crowd to support these Lady Foresters as well. Just a very exciting game, and we're all looking forward to it.
Plus, sometimes you'll see a little bit of changes to the uniforms. Maybe we'll see some hot pink uniforms out there.
Yeah, we'd like to see
That'd
that.
That'd be sweet.
That would be very interesting.
That'd be awesome. Forester ball out of the timeout by Lori Culler. That now leaves the Foresters with 5 remaining. No changes yet for Iwu. As Baker brings it up, met by Stahl. She'll go off right hand to Palmer. Palmer will go back to Baker in the corner. Defended by Krebs. Baker has to step out. Now she'll go baseline. Dishes it out to Palmer. Palmer steps back to Baker. 10 on the shot clock. Kick to Speed. Shot fake. Gonna drive in the lane. Tough shot is no good. Ball tipped out and rebounded by Baker. Bonema got her left hand on the ball and tipped it out.
Yeah, we saw her do that earlier, but nobody was there to corral it. This time, Courtney Baker able to plumb up with the board.
Baker gets some space. Here's a 2-pointer, and that breaks the drought by the Foresters at 14:50 to go in the second half. They're finally on the board, and Stanza number 2. 27-23. Lady Foresters trailing by 4 to Iwu. Stahl finds Krebs. Back at the top, Blackman goes to Stahl in the near wing in front of the Iwu bench. Nice backdoor pass to Blackman. Ball blocked by Bonema, knocked loose, and Blackman comes up with it. Goshert to Stahl, inside to Sohosky. Sohosky is called for the double dribble. Bonema making her presence known down on the low block.
Yeah, that block right there really just completely demoralized Indiana Wesleyan. They had a pretty good pass, and that helped defense. They're getting that block. It seems like they never quite recovered from it on that possession, forcing that double dribble with 2 left on the shot clock anyway.
14-13. Huntington can get it down to a 1-possession game as Recker has it high post. Off to Bonema on the opposite side of the key. Bounces to Speed. Off to Baker. Baker content to hold it. Goes to Palmer. Defended by Krebs. Finds Recker. Recker does have some range. She'll go off to Baker. Give a screen. So too does Bonema. Off to Palmer. 1 on the shot clock. Step back for a deep 3. That one's off the backboard and nothing else. A shot clock violation by the Foresters.
Yeah, good defensive possession there by the Wildcats. They really looked like what Huntington's been doing, and I think Coach Kohler a little frustrated. There were some opportunities to shoot there, and the Foresters didn't take it, and they had to settle for that long 3, ending in the shot clock violation.
Stahl brings it back across for the Wildcats. She'll work it off to Gosher far side. Blackman the screen. Tried to bounce it in. Nice job of Baker getting a leg on it that forces the kick ball. But if she hadn't gotten a leg on it, that would have been an easy look for Blackman inside.
Yeah, Baker, she's scrappy. She'll go for the ball any way she can, and she's been known to kick it sometimes like that. Good heads-up play. Stahl
works it far side. Trying to work against Palmer. Dishes inside. Sohosky, baseline jumper is good. Forster's going to try and push things a little bit here. Baker quickly off to Speed on the opposite side. Speed hands back to Baker. She'll go far side, ball knocked away, and it's out of bounds off of Krebs to the Foresters.
Smart call by Palmer. Instead of trying to go after that, just boxing out, allowing that ball to go out of bounds, knowing that it was last touched by the Wildcats.
Baker to inbound. Get into Bonema. Hands it right back to Courtney. Baker finds Speed. Speed going to work it back right. Now goes left, finds Baker. 9 on the shot clock. Pass off to Palmer. Palmer finds Recker. Long 2 is no good, off to the left. And now Gosher looking to try and push quickly. Does so to Krebs. Krebs finds Stahl. Stahl looking to drive. Kicks it out. Gosher to Blackman. And now back off with Stahl. Stahl working far side this go-around. Krebs to Blackman. Spin move. Lost it. Goes back outside to the Goshert. 3 ball is no good. Rebound Bonema. Nice box out.
Yeah, nice job being there and good job on that rebound there.
Speed with a nice job corralling the pass. Kicks it back out. Palmer for 3. It's good.
That's exactly what the Foresters needed to have right there, and from none other than Miranda Palmer.
3-point game now, 29-26.
She's really starting to turn into the offensive catalyst for this team.
It really is a spark plug off the bench. It'll be a blocking foul on Bonema. Stahl works her way around. Misses the shot, and she's at line for the first foul attempts by Iwu in this game. They had no attempts from the stripe in that first period.
No, they didn't. Foresters did a good job. When they did foul, it was all on the floor, and they really limited their fouls in the first place.
Second foul on Bonema. Stahl's first free throw swirls in. 4-point lead now for the Wildcats with 12:01 to go in the second half. Stahl's second of 2 is good. 2-for-2 effort from the Wildcats. And now Palmer will work it to Baker. Baker met by Stahl, top of the key. Bounces off to Recker at the high post. She'll find Bonema. She's left open for 2. That one too strong. Ball still loose. Blackman almost lost it, but she finally squeezes the ball and gets the defensive board. Ball back with Stahl. Out near the Forester logo on the far side. Kicks it out to Krebs. Krebs going all the way to the left. Bounce pass to Goshert. No, kick it back out to Blackman. Off to Stahl. Stahl will work inside, draws the foul on Peja. That is already her 4th.
Well, that's bad news for the Foresters. Really, Peja's struggling a little bit this game, especially offensively, and now she's going to have to be off the floor for a while. It's time for these other guards to step it up. Kelsey Hubble checking into the game now, and she's going to have to really do a good job now on the offensive side delivering for the Foresters.
14th foul for the Foresters, and as we mentioned, 4th on Peja. Sahoski gets the inbound, misses the jumper, rebound Baker. And now Courtney will try and push it for the Foresters. Trying to go baseline, instead backs it out. She'll get a screen from Palmer. Working it back, Courtney finds Hubble. Screen by Bonema. Hubble hands to Palmer. Palmer with space, trying to drive, puts that one up, got it, and the foul. Miranda Palmer at the line for the and one free throw. Eschman will now check in for the Foresters.
Yeah, and Palmer really seems to be the only offensive presence right there, keeping the Foresters in this game. And it seems like if the Foresters are going to fall into some sort of offensive rhythm, it might be behind her.
Palmer, I believe, now into double figures with 10 points at a 3 and now that 2. And one free throw on the way, and good. 2-point game, 31-29, 11 minutes to go. And again, Stahl bringing it up. And Caleb, we're seeing a lot more of Blackman in the second half. Doesn't look like I was going to try and stray too much and take her out. Gosher will dish to Blackman. Good switch, tough adjustment, and it'll be a foul as Blackman was going up. Foul will go against Eschman.
Yeah, that's not much more you can do in that situation. Amelia Eschman got herself into position and put her hands straight up, and it was just really good play by Blackman to draw that foul.
First foul on Eschman, 5th on the team. That last foul by Iwu was on Gosher. That was her 3rd. First free throw is off to the right and no good for Blackman. Blackman comes in today, not the best free throw shooter, 63% on the season. She has taken the 2nd most attempts on the team with 102. She goes 0 for 2 on that exchange. Nice board by Recker, and the Foresters have a chance to tie. Here comes Baker. Screen by Recker, dish to Palmer. Again, Palmer trying to work loose. Nice drive inside, had to knock it back out to Hubble. That to Palmer, 13 on the shot clock. Dish to Hubble, 3-ball, rainbow, and it is good from Kelsey Hubble.
And the Foresters have a lead now. They need to snap back on defense.
Sahoski back out to Stahl, and the Foresters retake the lead, 32-31. Blackman back out to Goshert, far side, cross court. Krebs, 4-3, is good. What an answer by Iwu.
Yeah, very powerful there, answer. Good job. Good heads-up play. The Foresters a little delayed getting back on defense there. I think they need to continue to do that, but really the crowd's back into this game, really excited for what the Foresters are doing on the court.
30-second timeout by Iwu is called right as the three-pointer was made. It's called by Scott Brooks, the head coach for Indiana Wesleyan. That leaves them with 4 remaining in the game. 34-32, both teams trading trifectas. Well, this is really getting the fans back into this game, and the Foresters definitely need it here to try and avoid their first conference loss at home.
Well, I think the Foresters are starting to fall into an offensive rhythm now. It's just a matter of can they sustain their defense. They've got Miranda Palmer involved. They got Kelsey Hubble. We mentioned both of those players stepping up in Peja Speed's absence with 4 fouls. So if they could just keep their defense up and continue to do what they're doing on offense, I think they can possibly put a run together.
And the Foresters have not been able to draw too many fouls on the Wildcats. Iwu only working with 2.5 so far, as they have made a change in their lineup. Winner is back in, number 3 for Blackman. Another interesting move here by the Wildcats. Apparently Blackman not being as effective so far this evening. Recker, nice dish inside Palmer. Turnaround with the layup, no good, but she was fouled and Palmer earns 2.
Well, that's the second time in a couple of different possessions that we've seen Palmer inside, relatively unguarded in the lane. They're going to have to make an adjustment to that. Otherwise, she's going to continue to get these free throw opportunities, and she's a very good free throw shooter.
Palmer out of Findlay, Ohio, and only a freshman. But she is playing like a well-experienced player. She hits the first one. Palmer on the season from the charity stripe has been doing relatively well. 30 for 42 coming into this evening, 71%. Second free throw is good from Palmer, and we're tied again at 34. Brown is back in for Iwu. She comes on for Krebs. think, Caleb, one of the keys now, I think, for the Forcers, they have to take advantage of that height inside and try and draw some more fouls.
I think so too. That's definitely a good way for them to get into a game or seal a game if they have the lead, and if they can get themselves into a position where they have the bonus at the end of the game, I think that's really going to help them out.
Winner, trapped by Record, goes back to Goshert. She'll hand to Stahl. Stahl trying to spin on Palmer. Back outside. Brown, a 2, no good. And the rebound by Baker. Good job by Eschman backing off. And now the Forcers can retake the lead. Hand to Palmer. Screen. Eschman has room for 3. Too strong. Ball knocked up. Fought for on the floor. And out of bounds to Iwu.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there. We did have the near side official blocking the view there, but it looks like a little bit of miscommunication between the two Amelias there on to who was going to grab that rebound.
9:08 to play and counting in the second half. Tied at 34, a relatively low scoring game, but defense has been the difference. Stahl works it back to the right. Spin move on Eschman, no good. Rebound by Amelia, and she hands to Palmer.
Yeah, I thought that was a very good move, but she just couldn't finish on that shot, and that's a good opportunity for the Forcers now.
Hand off to Baker. Baker slashing in the lane. Tough runner, and it's good. Wow, Courtney Baker with a slash in the lane. Put up a tough shot with the right hand and puts the Forcers in front by 2.
Yeah, and she's been relatively quiet as far as scoring goes, so if she can start to get involved, Iwu's really going to start to feel the pressure.
I believe, Caleb, that's her first points of the evening. So now 2 points on the board for Courtney Baker. Let's see if she'll heat up. Brown to Winner. Working off right to Goshert. Goshert going to try and work in the lane. Kicks it back out. Stahl in the corner. Into Sohosky. A tough shot off the glass and ties it at 36.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've seen her put up a really good shot guarded heavily by Amelia Eschman. And really those kind of shots might keep them in this game or even win them the game.
36 all as Baker works it along the perimeter. Goshert staring her right in the eyes. Recker inside to Palmer. Double team. Back out to Hubble. Hubble with a screen by Eschman. Goes to Baker. Bounce pass knocked up and taken. Brown with the steal. That one knocked away. Almost taken by Recker, and the ball still loose. Goshert corrals the loose orange. Brown working with it now. Iwu slowing things down after that near disaster. Stahl on the wing. Screened by Sohosky. Entry pass inside, out of bounds. Too wide there for Sohosky, and luckily Amelia Recker pulled back and let that one go.
Yeah, very smart call again by the Foresters, and these Wildcats making some mistakes, and the Foresters now starting to make them pay for them.
Media timeout here in the second half, brought to you by the Huntingtonians. 7:24 to go in regulation, and it's tied at 36. This is another one of those games, Caleb, where I'm starting to get nervous a little bit. The Foresters and Wildcats just seem so evenly matched right now.
Yeah, they're really trading punches at this point, and we're seeing the Foresters playing this game not in a fashion that they normally do. A lot of times a little bit slower in the first half and really put a run together in the second. And we saw them play a very good first half, but they haven't quite been able to get that dominating run that they normally find middle of the second half. They haven't been able to find that yet, and that's not to say that they won't with 7:24 left in this game.
Media timeout brought to you by the Huntingtonian. We are the media. Visit them at huntingtonian.com and follow them on Facebook and Twitter. Another great finish brewing inside Platt Arena. The team's tied at 36. Forcers will keep Amelia Eschman out there. And she really, Caleb, we say it a lot with both her and Palmer. They're really catalysts, it almost seems like, off the bench. Amelia, I think, more defensively than offensively.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I think she's done a nice job getting herself into position to limit those shots. And I think all the buckets that have come inside from the Wildcats have been just darn good shooting, really, and not much she can do, not much more she can do down low.
Forster ball out of the media timeout. Stahl getting some words from one of the Iwu assistant coaches. And Palmer will bring it up. Back to Baker. Baker, top of the key, bounces off to Recker at the high post. Looking to go inside. Finds Eschman around the perimeter. Bounce pass off to Palmer. Palmer swings to Hubble. Hubble, quick shot fake. Back outside. Palmer. It's good, and it's a 3-ball.
That's a big shot there, and Palmer is really starting to open up.
39-36, Forcers by 3. Stahl on the far wing, looking for movement. Back to Winter, top of the key, hands it to Stahl. Off to Brown. Hubble defending, fights through the screen. Kick it back out to Goshert. Screen, Sohosky. Good switch by the Foresters. Stahl has to stop and pop for three, too strong. Baker, the tough rebound.
Yeah, almost came in and over-pursued that shot, but she was able to pull it up, and now she's pushing the tempo.
Baker gonna go baseline, kicks it out. Hubble, long two, it's good! It is a long two, but it's good by Hubble. 41-36.
The fans don't care whether that was worth 1 or 5. They're happy with that shot right now.
Scoreboard has it at 42-36. It'll probably change that on the next stoppage. Stahl out to Goshert to Brown on the near wing. Screen, Sohosky. Off to Stahl, far side. Now Winter provides the pick. Back outside. Goshert, shot fake. Driving inside. Tough runner, no good. Rebound, Wrecker. And Baker will now hold it and take as much time of the shot clock as possible as we close in on 5.5 minutes to go. Will now change to 41. A layup inside. We were getting the score corrected. It is 41, but now it's 43 after the layup by who, Caleb?
Miranda Palmer. Who else on the offense?
Goshert quickly back the other way, kicks to Brown. 5:15 remaining. Brown inside, blocked by Eschman out of bounds. Get that out of here.
And block might be an understatement there. She swatted that one out, and they're going to remember next time they go up against her.
43-36, the score now correct for you on your screen. Foresters by 7. 15 on the shot clock for Iwu as Stahl inbounds. Goes to Brown. Brown will go back to the perimeter. Swings it to Stahl in front of the Iwu bench. Stahl back outside. Brown gonna go inside. Eschman fell over, a foul. It will be 2 shots for Stahl as the foul goes against Eschman. That's team foul number 6. Second on Eschman. So 1 away is Iwu from the bonus.
Well, the Foresters really starting to put together that run that they're known for in the second half. And I think an undervalued player here right now is Courtney Baker, who's running the field as a general and just getting everybody moved into position to set up these excellent Miranda Palmer and Kelsey Hubble shots.
Brown hits the first free throw and goes 2 for 2. It's now 43-39. Foresters by 4. 4:50 and counting. Baker on the far side now, dishes to Palmer, left open for 3, too strong, ball's tipped out, fighting for it. It is Palmer. It was knocked over by an Iwu player. That allowed Palmer to go get it, and the Foresters have a fresh shot clock.
An excellent hustle by all the Foresters there.
Pass to Hubble, working back left, defended by Stahl now. Here's the pass to Palmer, 12 on the shot clock. Miranda looking to go right. Bounce over to Baker, back outside. Palmer, 3-ball, no good. Rebound, Wrecker, and the putback.
And nothing stopping the Foresters right now. They are firing on all cylinders, fueled by Courtney Baker, finding those great passes and some good offensive rebounds as well.
It says 45-38 on the scoreboard. It should be 45-39, but the Foresters lead it by 6. Blackman back in. Never mind, I'm getting word from my director, Brooks Louie, that is correct. It is now 45-40 after a nice shot by Sohosky in the lane. Timeout, Iwu. It's a full timeout brought to you by HCV News, and Peja Speed is coming back in.
Yeah, you'd think in baseball when you put in your closer and you've got some really good performances by the guards. I mean, we mentioned that they needed to step up, and what can we say about Kelsey Hubble and Miranda Palmer getting all those shots, and also the forwards, Amelia Wrecker and Eschman, pulling down some huge rebounds, especially on the offensive side, and the Foresters are now starting to look like the second half team that they are.
45-40. Full timeout brought to you by HTV News, your source for the latest video coverage. 3:47 to go in regulation, and the Foresters are looking to split the season series with Iwu and get sole possession of second in the conference. There's still plenty of time for Iwu. Let's not get it wrong here, folks. But the Foresters, the way they're playing right now, Caleb, they want to win this game.
Yeah, it's going to be hard-pressed. If the Fortress can keep doing what they're doing, really, Indiana Wesleyan's going to have a hard time stopping them. Just utilizing all their weapons and playing excellent defense on the other end of the court. This is the Fortress that we like to see in the second half. And I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, they're a different team than they are earlier this season, and they're showing it right now.
5-point lead and Forrester ball out of the timeout. IWU has 3 remaining. Forrester still have 5. They'll go with Baker, Palmer, Speed, Eschman, and Recker. Hubble has checked out. Here comes Baker. And it's going to be important here, I think, Caleb, not only to get a basket, but use a lot of time on the clock.
Yeah, and one thing they have a little bit more control over than the other, and I think they'll do a nice job, especially anytime you have Courtney Baker and Paige Speed on the court with their quickness. I think they'll be able to shave off a lot of that time.
Speed hands to Baker. She'll go inside. Tough shot up, no good. Rebound Stahl. And now IWU is going to push this one pretty hard. Here goes Stahl. She'll try and go coast to coast, and the layup is good. 3-point game, 45-42, 3:12 to go.
Yeah, that's exactly what Indiana Wesleyan needed there. Very quick possession, come down and score. Huntington needs to do a little bit better job snapping back on defense.
Speed with a screen from Eschman. Looking to go back around the perimeter and does to Palmer. Palmer working against Brown. Kicks it to Speed. Eschman providing some good screens. Speed looking for help. Goes back out to Palmer. That one knocked up. Eschman has to take a tough shot. That one off the backside of the backboard, and that'll be a shot clock violation.
Well, Paige Speed got rid of the ball with about 6 on the shot clock, and I think she really needed to hang on to it and set herself up a shot. Instead, she put Miranda Palmer in a very tough position.
Less than 2:40 to play. IWU with the ball. Blackman back on the floor. Has it. Goes to Goschert. Off to Stahl on the wing. So Hosky fighting against Eschman inside. Blackman will drive and passes to no one. It's out of bounds.
Yeah, big break for the Foresters there. There's been a lot of miscommunication on the passes with Indiana Wesleyan, and the Foresters really need to make them pay for it right now, make it a 2-possession game.
We have not seen much of Blackman this year, Caleb, but I would hazard to guess this may be her worst game she's played all year.
Yeah, it's definitely not going super well for her right now.
Recker has to pick up her dribble, bounces to Speed. Recker now provides the screen. Has space, goes to Palmer. Palmer works her way around Blackman and draws the foul. That's only team foul number 4, though, but Blackman does pick up another. That's her second.
Yeah, and that's still a very monumental thing for the Foresters right now, getting a fresh 30 seconds now. They can burn more clock, continue to push this lead, and if they can get a basket, it makes it 2 possessions, which is very big.
Great point there, Caleb. Baker has it after the handoff from Eschman. Foul away from the ball. It is on Sohosky. That's team foul number 5 now. And the Foresters want to take a 30-second timeout, and they will get it. First foul on Sohosky. That'll leave Huntington with 4 timeouts left. 45-42. And again, just under 2 minutes, Caleb, a 3-point lead, but that fresh 30 seconds.
Yeah, and I think Coach Kohler knows the importance of this possession. With time winding down now, 30 seconds and under 2 minutes left to play, if they can get any kind of basket here, they're going to be in really good shape for the rest of this game, putting themselves 2 possessions ahead of Indiana Wesleyan.
And only a 3-point game, 45-42. We kind of expect this from Indiana Wesleyan. They have the number 1 scoring defense in all the nation at 53 points a game, but they've only scored 42 themselves.
Yeah, I think Huntington's really matched the challenge there, and they're very good defenders themselves with just a little bit more that they're allowing, 59.8 per game, so they're just doing an excellent job there, and especially this game.
45-42, Speed to inbound. Has to get it in quickly, and does so deep to Baker.
And that had to be close to the 5-second
It was very
mark.
close. Baker working against Brown, hand to Speed. Speed going to Palmer. Now Palmer driving inside. Almost got the layup, but she was fouled and she's at the line.
Yeah, and that's just as good of a situation now. She's got 2 opportunities to make it a 2-possession game. Granted, we would have loved to see that one fall in, but I think that she'll be able to get this, and that's the important thing. Make it 2 possessions at this point.
Second foul on Stahl. 6th on IWU, so now both teams 1 away from the bonus. Palmer with 2 free throws. First one is up and good.
I think we might have had another mistake there on the scoreboard.
Yes, we did. It should be 46-42. We do have 2 subs coming in for IWU, Caleb. We saw Cottrell come back in, along with number 24, Krebs. And Krebs, too, has been relatively quiet.
Yeah, and that's something the Forsters do a lot, is they limit the big players. Good defensive performance, especially by Courtney Baker, but by a lot of other players as well.
They'll now get the score correct. That is it, 46-42, as the referee now moves away, and Palmer getting ready for her second free throw.
Yeah, a lot less pressure on this one. She was able to make it a 2-possession game, and now it's just extra shots.
This would make it a very tough 2-possession scale if it gets out to 5 points. Gotta take everything though into consideration.
Yeah, and another thing to mention is Indiana Wesleyan does not have any more fouls to give. The next time they foul a Forster on the floor or on the shot, they're going to the line, and the Forsters are a very good free throw shooting team, one of the best in the country.
Referees say that they are good. And now Palmer will get the second free throw. Palmer just trying to shake the nerves loose there, possibly, Caleb. Did get a bit of a break there, but that may be good for all of these players out on the floor. Palmer's second on the way. It's good. 5-point game, 47-42. A great finish brewing in Platte Arena. Foresters by 5. Stahl kicks in the corner. Goshert for 3, and she connects.
Very big shot there, and now it's really good that Palmer was able to hit both of those free throws now, because, again, a 2-pointer still makes it a 2-possession game if they can cash in on this one.
47-45. Full timeout brought to you by HTV News. A $1:34 to play, Caleb. But this is important to remember, too. Now, both teams have no fouls to give. Both teams will be in the bonus on their respective fouls. So it's going to be important for the Foresters to really get themselves in a position to score, regardless of if it's drawing the foul or really, getting a great look at the hoop.
Yeah, they do. And normally you want to burn clock, and I guess that's still very important, but not as important as getting the shot. If they get a good look, they need to take it no matter what, even if it's high with the shot clock. Getting this to be a 2-possession game is the most important thing they can do right now.
Full timeout brought to you by HTV News, your source for the latest video coverage. Only a 2-point game, and again, I was talking to Kendall Green, one of the statisticians, earlier before the game, and IWU really likes to do that kind of drive and kick thing, and it worked to perfection there. Forsters have got to be ready for that.
Yeah, we've seen that the Wildcats can basically answer for any big play that the Forsters are able to come up with here, and it's going to be very important for them to continue to do so down the stretch, and the Forsters to try their best to prevent it.
We see 3 subs for IWU. Brown, Stewart, and Blackman all return to the floor for IWU. Baker with no pressure yet from the Wildcats. A very interesting move here, really.
Yeah, I think they understand that if they can just play good half-court defense here, they can be right back in this game.
Baker hands to Speed. She is running hard. Centers, goes off to the left. Now spins back right. Eschman provides a screen. She's double-teamed, finds Palmer. Palmer switched off by Brown. Palmer gets double-teamed, finds Speed. 8 on the shot clock. Speed gonna try and drive. Finds some room. Got it to go with 1:05 remaining.
And we mentioned Paige Speed as the closer, and she really did a nice job throwing a strike there with that shot.
4-point game. Stahl misses the lay-in, but she is fouled. 49-45 your score. 57.5 seconds left.
Well, that is a big foul there. She knocks down either one of those, makes it a 1-possession game again already, so tough foul there.
Timeout by Coach Culler, 30-second timeout. Smart move there, maybe possibly trying to freeze the free throw shooter, you would freeze a kicker in football.
Yeah.
This is the game plan right now. Foul was on Palmer, that's her second.
Yeah, definitely a chess match going on between not only the coaches but the players as well. And I mentioned Courtney Baker just really commanding the troops, getting all the players positioned in a spot where they can score the best, and really just a nice job by all these people involved in this game, putting on a great performance for us tonight.
Students have gotten to see quite the show here inside Platte Arena. And really, Caleb, this game has gone by pretty fast. we're only at about 8:23 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, with that last foul, we saw the bonus happen for the first time this entire game in either one of these halves. So the foul situation really showing that there hasn't been a lot of stoppages in play. This game is cruising along.
Stahl on the evening. She did not attempt free throws in that first half. She may have in the second. I may be mistaken on that. But Stahl's first is on the way and left it short.
Yeah, puts a lot of pressure on this next shot here. If they miss, the Forcers are really sitting pretty.
More important to box out as well. Stahl, second one, no good, but rebound Goshert. Trying to turn around, has to kick back out to Stahl. Stahl against Palmer, baseline, finds Stewart rather. Two-pointer, no good. Rebound Blackman and the putback. They're going to put 44.8 on the clock. 49-47, I should say.
Very good eye by the official there, making that adjustment.
And now the full court pressure comes from Iwu. No one guarding the inbounder. Baker to try and get it in. Gets it in to Recker. Recker going to have to try and work it herself. Goes back to Speed.
5 seconds to get it across.
Speed is across. Goes to Baker. 32 seconds left. 16 on the shot clock. Baker kicks to Palmer. Palmer with space. Screen, Eschman, 10 on the shot clock. Palmer has to make something happen. Crossing over, driving in under the baseline. What a layup! A reverse layup by Miranda Palmer!
I don't even know if I believe that. Nice solid right there.
51-47. Stahl quickly back the other way for Iwu. They are wasting time now. Stewart, turnaround, no good. Rebound. And it's a foul on Blackman. That gives the Forsters the ball with 6 seconds remaining.
And a very capable Amelia Recker going to the line. And man, that shot by Miranda Palmer, I cringed when she went up, thought it was a bit forced, but boy was I wrong. She knew exactly what she was doing on that reverse layup.
That'll put a Forster at the line, and it's going to be Amelia Recker. This will ice the game. Coach Culler taking her players out of the lane to leave Iwu with it. Remember, it is the 1-and-1. Eschman going to go deep to try and defend the long pass. Recker, too strong. Rebound Blackman. Here comes Stahl with 2 seconds. The layup is good. But that ends the game. Oh, hold on here, folks. They're going to put some time back on the clock.
Yeah, I agree with that. The ball went in before that clock expired, so if really the Forsters can get an inbound here, then they will win the game.
That last foul by Iwu was against Blackman, her third. They're going to put .7 on the clock and give Iwu a timeout, as Coach Brooks called it from the sidelines. And we'll see what length it is. And it's going to be a full, brought to you by HTV News. .7 to go. So all really Huntington has to do is get somebody to touch the ball.
Right, their mission is simple, and they do have 3 timeouts to work with. So if it's not
Exactly.
looking good, they can take another one. It's not like they're going to run out at any point during this game. So, and they get an extra one, if unfortunately they go into overtime, but all they got to do is get the ball in.
51-49. That full timeout brought to you by HTV News, your source for the latest video coverage. You can visit them at htvnews.net and follow them on Twitter at HTV News_HU. Iwu with only 1 timeout left. But again, the Forsters have 3 to try and get it in.
And something I just thought about, they might just try to launch the ball down the court as well. With only .7 seconds, it'd be very hard for the Wildcats to put up a quality shot. So they
but we know what happens with .7, though.
Yes,
We've seen something similar to
Huntington
that.
knows it better than anybody, but it's not very likely to happen. But they say it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, so we'll play the odds there. And, if they get themselves in a bad situation where they can't inbound the ball, they might try to throw a football pass down the court.
There's a look at the huddle for Iwu as their timeout has just concluded. Scott Brooks drawing up a play there. And for Iwu, I think maybe the smart thing for them, Caleb, would be to foul even before it gets in.
Yeah, if they can, then they might do that, really, just to keep getting themselves opportunities. Forsters running a box set here.
Speed to inbound. Gets it into Baker. That's your ball game. The Foresters have upset Iwu 51-49. The Foresters are still perfect in conference play in Platte Arena.
And Courtney Baker just bolted out of the door there, got wide open. That wasn't even difficult. We're going to give these ladies some applause for their outstanding performance today.
And Caleb, we never expected this. That is the third straight loss by Iwu. Unbelievable finish here inside Platte Arena.
Yeah, they're definitely really struggling, and
career of Lori Collin. Today's win marks Coach Color's 500th career.
Just announcing over the PA, it's a milestone victory for head coach Lori Culler, her 500th win of her coaching career.
outstanding achievement, and just
Not a bad game to get it either.
No, she couldn't have got it on a better one, and I guarantee you she's thrilled right now.
Both teams gathering at half court for a prayer after the game. What a finish in this one. 51-49. The Foresters have grabbed sole possession of second in the Crossroads League. We're back with a post-game wrap-up on 105.5 WQHU Fuse FM and Forster Live on YouTube. Back with you inside Platte Arena. Fantastic finish. The Foresters upsetting the Wildcats 51-49. Foresters improving to 18-6, Caleb, and taking sole possession, as we mentioned, in the Crossroads League at 10-3. Iwu falls to 19-6, 9-4, and they have lost 3 in a row.
Yeah, really a team that's kind of losing a lot of momentum, and especially in this second stretch of Crossroads play, just having a hard time. The Foresters, on the other hand, as strong as we've ever seen them so far this season, they're in second place now, only behind St. Francis. And we've mentioned they have 2 more home games. One of those is against St. Francis, so I'd be really excited to see that one. St. Francis, as we can see here, 25-0 on the season, 13-0 in Crossroads. Somebody's got to beat them, right?
Somebody has to. If it might as well just be us, right?
Well, I don't see any reason why not, especially the way these ladies played tonight. Just an outstanding effort all around. We mentioned Miranda Palmer just shooting the ball just incredibly well. That last possession there with that reverse layup, icing the game.
Wild.
Incredible. But really, everybody else, just a very solid performance as well. A lot of people playing incredibly well away from the ball. Amelia Eschman, Amelia Recker pulling down a lot of good rebounds. Jacqueline Bonema playing outstanding defense earlier in the game. And after a couple fouls, we saw her sit down, and Eschman was playing so well that Bonema stayed out. But really, I thought Bonema played a really good first half and was very pivotal. And then, as we mentioned, Courtney Baker just really running the floor and just setting up all those great plays, and very underappreciated. But she did a good job. We don't have the stat sheet right now, but had to have had a ton of assists there.
Yeah, it was crazy. Again, we mentioned Lori Culler, now win number 500 in her career, an absolutely fantastic way for Coach Culler to get that 500th win. We get a look at our final stat sheet here. Amelia Recker with only 4 points, but she pulled down 9 big rebounds. The Foresters do get out-rebounded 28-27, but they pulled down 8 offensive boards, and those provided really, Caleb, a lot of second-chance opportunities.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was really one of the keys to the game, and we see a ton of assists, too, just by all these players. Just a nice job getting those assists off, and just the points were outstanding as well.
Not many turnovers either. You mentioned they had 8 at the break. 1 turnover in that second half by the Foresters, where Iwu, they committed 7 in the second half and finished with 12. That was huge.
Yeah, and really, if you looked at the pointers of the game, the rebounding and the turnovers we were talking about at halftime, that the Foresters really needed to continue to do well and then also correct with the turnovers, and they did a good job continuing, winning. They didn't win the rebound battle outright, but just pulled down the ones where they needed to when it counted, and just excellent job limiting those turnovers in the second half.
Leading scorer, ladies and gentlemen, Miranda Palmer with 22 points, by far and away the leading scorer. Next highest was Sahosky with 12. Goshert had 10, but so too did Kelsey Hubble. A nice effort out of her this evening.
Yeah, and a very timely three-pointer in the second half, along with one early on. Really, just those shots really set up the game and just did a nice job, and really just the scoring. And I got to give a shout out to Miranda Palmer and Kelsey Hubble stepping up when Peja was sitting on the bench and allowing her to stay and get some rest and come out and really help seal the deal. Excellent job by those 2 guards.
Peja did only finish with 9 points, but she did not foul out in this game. And her presence in those last, I believe it was 3:47 when she checked in during a timeout. I think she really provided some great opportunities. The Foresters get the dub, Caleb. How about that?
Yeah, they really did, and just a huge game. Gives them a lot of encouragement, and I think that it'll really carry on to the remaining games. Again, we mentioned they have a lot of away games later on in this season. I think they'll carry this momentum to those games.
Speaking of their next game, they will be at home for the 6th annual Pink Out game for breast cancer awareness against the Goshen College Maple Leafs, I should say. And that'll be on Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. start time. The Maple Leafs upset the Foresters on the road the last time, 64-63. So this will be quite the interesting game, as we will bring that to you here on Forster Live on YouTube and 105.5 Fuse FM.
Yeah, always looking forward to that Pink Out game. As we mentioned several times, we'll have a good crowd here, a good program to put together to honor those that have survived breast cancer, and just should be a great time Saturday.
Man, what a final, again, our final score, Caleb, 51-49. A fantastic game, really, by both teams, but the Foresters pulling it out off of a reverse layup from Miranda Palmer. We will see you on Saturday afternoon again for the 6th annual Pink Out game for breast cancer awareness, as the Foresters take on the Maple Leafs in Platt Arena on February 8th, 1 o'clock start time there. For my partner, Caleb Oberfeld, our entire crew on hand, and our director, Brooks Hooley, I'm Eric Benton saying so long from Platte Arena.